The 2025 NBA All-Star Game is a little over a month away. However, the trade deadline will be around that time as well, so I figure if I wanted to make a video about my All-Star selections, now is the time to do that before the chaos happens. Although the format of the game is different this season, in the end, you need 12 players from each conference to create the team, so here are my 12. We're going to start with the easiest 3 selections, since there really shouldn't be any objections here, as the East front court is basically already set. There really shouldn't be any changes to it. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, and Karl Anthony Towns. But we move to the Eastern Conference guards, and that's when it gets controversial and complicated. I'll get this right out the way. My first guard has to be Trae Young. At this moment, the Hawks are the 6th seed, a playoff team, in large part due to his play so far. Averaging 22 points and 12 assists a game while leading a team that wasn't even considered to be a playoff team before the year started to a top 6 seed is impressive. He has improved significantly on the defensive end, and looking at it now, Trae Young deserves to be the first guard voted in as an Eastern Conference All-Star. In terms of numbers, the debate for the second starting guard spot would easily be between LaMelo Ball or Cade Cunningham. Personally, I think Donovan Mitchell should get this spot, as he is the best player on the best team in the entire league. However, I don't want to discredit what the others have done so far this year, and I'm going to have to give it to either LaMelo or Cade. I really want to lean Cade here, as I think he has been better this season, but the numbers make me want to give it to LaMelo. Cade is my choice, but in the interest of being fair and having the understanding that LaMelo is playing so well this season, like averaging 30 points, nearly 7.5 assists a game, and 5 rebounds, despite not having anything close to an ideal supporting cast, is much more impressive than we can really discuss in this video. So LaMelo Ball is going to get the second guard spot, but this was really difficult. My 5 starters in the East are Trae Young, LaMelo Ball, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Cat. Moving west, we will start with the front court as we did with the East. Nikola Jokic, you are headed to the All-Star game. I hope there's no debate there. He's the starter. Now we have a complicated problem. Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Victor Wembanyama, and LeBron James. All 4 are going to be in it. Only 2 can be listed as starters, however. And statistically, Wemby and KD are probably the 2 starters, but LeBron and AD are also right there. And knowing how much weight their name and fan base carries, it is hard to make a front court where neither of them are listed as starters. LeBron James will be voted in as a starter and probably will be the captain, but does he deserve the spot based on this season specifically? Honestly, not, but out of respect, do I have to put him here? Yes. So LeBron will be the second player I put in the front court, since the respect factor and the fact he is performing to a similar level as the other players in consideration just makes it so he has to get it. The final starting spot there for me is going to be given to Victor Wembanyama, because right now he is probably the decoy, and with averages of nearly 26 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks, and 1 steal a game on better efficiency than last year, and completely turned around a season that we labeled as a disappointment early on, is just so impressive that I can't really not give it to him. He should be in the All-Star game as a starter, and it's crazy since it's only his second year. Moving to the guards, SGA is a lock and the best selection here, no questions asked. But the second player at this position in the West is difficult. I can't lie. Luka has been way too injured for me to put him here, so my selection is between my favorite player, De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards, and Kyrie Irving. I am allowed one biased pick in this video, and that pick will be used on De'Aaron Fox. Although I honestly think Kyrie Irving is the most deserving of this spot. I won't lie. Steph Curry will probably get it based on popularity, though. My Western Conference starters are SGA, De'Aaron Fox, LeBron James, Victor Wembanyama, and Nikola Jokic. Now we got my 7 bench players on the West. To start, I'm going to give it to Kevin Durant, as he is trying his best to carry our pathetic Suns team, and he's putting up monster numbers. And I'm going to give it to Anthony Davis, who had found himself atop the MVP ladder early on. Although he fell completely off of it, he has still easily been an all-star in my eyes. Both of them could be starters, and it wouldn't be a shock, and they're both deserving of that honor as well. Kyrie Irving should be a lock for a spot in the All-Star game in my eyes. I mean, he is putting together an amazing year. Luka has been derailed by injuries, but putting up 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists on 49% shooting from the floor and 45% from 3, and 91% from the line, nearly 50-40-90, is really just a non-negotiable all-star level production here, and he should be in it. He could get the second starting spot, and if we're being honest, he should probably be the second guard voted in as a starter in the West next to SGA. Anthony Edwards will be the 4th player voted in on my bench. He has had a great three-point shooting season, and although he has had some rough games, averaging 25, 6, and 4 on 44, 42, 81 splits is all-star worthy. He has also not missed a game all year, which is going to be a big factor in my decision to give him the nod. My most controversial selection is going to be Stephen Curry. As we all know, his numbers aren't the same, but the respect factor is something that is going to always play a factor in the all-star selections, and if his numbers are close to any other candidates, he is deserving of the spot, and that is what is happening here. Now, before I announce my final two bench players, I will give reasonings for my snubs. Luka and Ja will be snubbed simply because they are hurt and will be hurt during or around the All-Star game, so voting them in is meaningless for anything other than the accolades. Norman Powell, Domantas Sabonis, J-Dub, and James Harden just missed the cut as well, but when it comes down to it, I think the other two players I have are just more deserving. Player 1 is Alperen Sengun, the best player on the 3-seeded Rockets. A player who does it all, and despite averaging only 19 points, he is averaging 11 rebounds and 5 assists a game, while being the engine of a team that has really struggled on offense, and without him, the offense would be even more horrific. Knowing his impact and his reliability in the health department, and considering how good he has been with less than ideal floor spacing and construction offensively around him, I think he has earned his spot in the All-Star game. And the last spot would be Jazz, but the Grizzlies' most reliable and consistent player has without a doubt been Jaren Jackson Jr., as he has been the consistent force for the team. His efficiency has really jumped up, and his maturity as a player on offense and even defense has really shown this year. So if Ja and Luka are not healthy enough or don't play from this point to the All-Star game, out of Triple J, Norman Powell, Domantas Sabonis, J-Dub, and James Harden, I think Jaren Jackson Jr. has earned it. So yeah, that's going to round out my bench in the West. Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, Alperen Sengun, and Jaren Jackson Jr. Sengun and Triple J could be swapped for Luka and Ja, but again, health is playing a factor in that. Now for my East reserves, best team in the league must get representation. So Donovan Mitchell must be here after missing out on a starting spot. Cade Cunningham was almost my starter, and I honestly think he is an easy all-star pick, so he is going to get my second spot on the bench. Franz Wagner is my third player on the bench. Although he got hurt, through 25 games, Franz was averaging 24, 6, and 6, all-star numbers, and to consider how well the team was performing before he got hurt, you must also factor that into his selection. I mean, the Magic were one of the best teams in the league until he got hurt. The face of New York basketball is going to be an all-star, no doubt in my mind. But do I think he should be a starter? I think the numbers do back that up, as he's averaging 25 points, 8 assists on 48% shooting from the floor and 40% from 3. But he's also been pretty inconsistent this year, and the other guys ahead of them that I selected as starters, their supporting cast is much worse, yet they're producing similar numbers, so I'm going to give them the nod there. But Jalen Brunson definitely could be an all-star, and I'm not going to sit here and say he shouldn't be a starter. Maybe a surprise selection here, but RJ Barrett is in the all-star game right now, if we're being honest. 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists a game, and by far the best season of his career. Triple-doubles, double-doubles, 35 in 5 games, and just great games almost nightly on one of the worst teams in basketball. A player that thrives off of getting downhill and to the basket is playing on a team with no floor spacing and a horrific offense, putting these numbers up. He will probably be snubbed this season, but I think he has a better case than we are crediting him right now. His defense is still a question mark, however, and that is probably the one thing that will keep him out of this more than anything if you compare him to his teammate Scotty Barnes or even other players that I did snub. Jaylen Brown is a questionable decision for me, but his defense is elite and his numbers are on par with everyone else up in the air for this spot. So I just think defensively he is so much better than everyone compared to him right now that he has earned this honor easily, as he has similar numbers. The convos for the final spot are going to be heavily surrounding Tyrese Maxey and Damian Lillard, but I think Tyler Hero should get that nod right now, as he has been the Miami Heat's best player and is averaging 24.6 rebounds and 5 assists on far better efficiency than either of the two, as he is shooting 48% from the floor and 41% from 3. The media would prefer the other two, but comparing all three, Tyler Hero's the answer. My Eastern Conference bench will be Donovan Mitchell, Cade Cunningham, Franz Wagner, Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, Jaylen Brown, and Tyler Hero. And of course, my snubs will include Evan Mobley, Nikola Vucevic, Scotty Barnes, and Jalen Johnson, but most notably Damian Lillard and Tyrese Maxey, which is where I imagine most of the disagreement coming. So yes, I know I have a lot of controversial picks, but that's not the perfect all-star team. That's my all-star vote. So here is the perfect all-star team. This is what it should be without any of my bias, without any of the injuries and none of the other factors. This is basically the perfect picks right here. In the West, the starting lineup would be SGA, Luka, LeBron, Wemby, and Jokic, with their bench being Fox, Ant, Kyrie, Ja, KD, AD, and Curry. Then in the East, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Kat, with Trae Young, LaMelo Ball, Cade Cunningham, Franz Wagner, Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, and Evan Mobley as your bench. That's the perfect lineup. I hope you all enjoyed. If you want to watch my weekly recap called In Case You Missed It, click on the video on the upper left. And if you want to watch my last Friday's video, which is a Christmas present for every NBA team, click on the video on the right. Y'all stay safe. Have a good one. Bye.